Tag Show. Tag Show. That's gonna leave a mark, Taylor.
That's undisputed because I'm undisputed.
You ready to
Hey, what's
start?
going on, I'm trying to start if you let me do the thing with the people. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the Mixed Tag Show with
I don't want to do this anymore.
and Blue. Before we start, I know we're starting very lighthearted. Before we start anything, discuss our weekend, like that, I do want to take a moment of silence for Wrestler that passed away. I don't know if you remember Kamala. I do. Like, that was one of the characters that was like very scary to me. So I want to just take a quick brief moment and remembrance and do a moment of silence for Kamala. Thank you. How was your week?
Did I do anything special?
No,
I
because you
guess
had the week off.
All right, so how do you know I didn't do something special?
Because you would have put it
Anyway.
up on your social already.
Did I put anything on my social?
No, you didn't.
My week was good, watched little sports, shout out to the Blazers. I'm very happy for Dame Lillard and CJ, and especially my guy Melo. I've been a Melo fan
guy
since,
Melo.
Our guy Melo. Been a fan of his since he came into the league. So, and people have been shitting on him for all these years, saying he can't do it, but he just never had a team like he has now. So not to make this a basketball podcast, but that was essentially more so my week, I guess. How was yours?
Very busy, very tiring. Like, I'm like working basically 3 different jobs a day in this very, very long days. And I'm trying to learn how to manage everything.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of like all of this. And then I'm trying to help and drop this other series. So I've been working hard on that. But yeah, like you said, I've been watching basketball.
Booked and busy, I mean.
I love that basketball is back.
Baseball too.
I can't do it.
I'm enjoying it, especially when the Yankees are killing it. I love it. But
I gotta get back again. But no, I didn't want to say y'all owe Melo an apology because you mother lovers were saying that he was done.
You can curse on the show. Let it out. Go ahead, say it.
No, I'm trying to be better. I got I got a baby on the way.
That's fine. Your kid is not. He's not here right here to hear it. So go ahead, do it.
You mother lovers, fuckers, that try to tell me Melo was washed, and I didn't believe you, and glad I didn't believe you. Y'all never put him in the right system, and then y'all try to push him out the league. Oh, my fucking apology, fuckers. Mm-hmm. Anyway,
you see how they be doing like they forgot. No, it was one of the greatest.
Friend.
That's it. Every he could have been definitely asset to the league. Anyway, but again, this is not a basketball sports podcast. Let's get into the show. I mean, into the show, into the week. What stood out for you?
Retribution. Let's start with that. Like, what's going on? Like, I still don't understand what it is. Like, I see them on Raw and SmackDown. There's more of them on SmackDown. Like, what is I didn't get it.
A lot of people I don't know. They're coming in kind of like they remind me of the Shield, except for like you see more members, you see women involved, but it's the same concept of like interrupting matches and causing havoc. Only thing is now, instead of just ruining matches, it's them destroying property, and you have women involved, which I was reading a lot of people, and because you're trying to figure out who it possibly be. And I think I read somewhere that they're changing the members, but until they actually reveal who they are, just so people don't get an idea. Because I remember, I think, was it last week or something, people were saying, oh, it looks like Vanessa Bourne based off their hair because it was curly.
Right.
And this week, so I was reading a lot of people were saying Ember Moon and Carmella. And if you look, right, I think on SmackDown specifically, I saw a woman of color, like a Black woman, that looks kind of like it would seem like Ember's body type, and then also for Carmella too. But her hair would have been darker. So I don't know.
Well, we've noticed that. I don't know if you noticed, but Ember Moon changed her hair. She shaved the side of her head, so they're probably doing some changes
so
to their
maybe
hairs
she's close.
and stuff like
She's
that.
close. Yeah, maybe she's closer. And then I don't know with Carmella. Like this is all speculation. I'm not saying that this is what
I've
it is,
told you,
but it looks
I've heard some
it
names
looks
as
like
well.
their body type.
I've heard some names as well. I don't want to put it out there because it's kind of close to the situation, but we don't know because they're not saying that. I mean, I looked at them like, yo, all right, who's everybody that's under 5'7"? Because at one point they were all very short and around the same height. So I'm like, all right. And then this week we seen different heights. I'm like, all right, so y'all just really changing people up now until I really want to see who it is.
Yeah, I think that's actually kind of cool because it just seems like in wrestling nowadays, everything gets spoiled and there's rumors that get leaked and this and that and the third. So I think it's kind of cool that they're switching up and we really have no idea who's going to be in it.
I think I know one person.
Okay.
Tommaso Ciampa.
See, but the thing is, which I like that idea, but remember he said back in the day, although like this year has been very crazy and different for all of us, but he did say he'd rather be on NXT and not the main roster because of traveling. So obviously they're not traveling, but still, let's say by this thing get up and running late, like fall or whatever, and then next year things start to get better in regards to COVID and traveling is allowed again. You know what I mean? So
he doesn't sign the checks. He just got to go where they tell him to go.
But he also said had he went to the main roster, he would have retired. So he has that decision. So regardless of who's signing the checks, he has that decision.
I mean,
I'm sure there's certain guys and people that they can be like, hey, what do you think about this? And I think he's one of those guys, especially in NXT. So, I don't know.
Hey, it got us all on guessing. So let's see what happens.
Yep. On Raw, did you see? By the way, I was bringing up Randy Orton. Did you see his video? I wanted to post it on our page, but it was mad funny. But he did a TikTok, and he's like, and it was like this song, like, do you want to catch these hands? Blah 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 blah. Like I don't know. And then it's an action figure of of Drew McIntyre, and then Randy he's giving it the RKO, and then he puts him on top, and then there's a small ass title, and he puts it on his shoulder. Randy is like I said, one of the MVPs of 2020. He is hilarious. It's just so fun. It's heartwarming to me. I don't want to be corny, but just to see the evolution, no pun intended, of Randy Orton, just like who he is as a person.
Past year, right?
This past year, like outside of character,
wrestling.
And
he's a troll too.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just like I love seeing it. Like he's having a good time. He's lighthearted. Like people like messing with him, and it's showing also in his work. Like I think he's just doing a really really good job. And the thing is, like the past few years, a lot of the criticism towards Randy was like, oh, he's stale, he does the same moves, which he does, but it's just you're gonna expect the same thing, very dull and this and that and third. And I've always been a Randy fan. Like I preferred him at one point over John Cena, but that's another conversation for another day. But,
did you see his interaction with the Young Bucks?
Yeah, I saw that on Instagram. So I'm saying all of that, is good entertainment basically. But
what was not good entertainment? What was not good was Ric Flair. It handled.
Was it not good? Because I'm not the biggest Ric Flair.
Not for him. Not for Ric Flair.
Yeah. What do you think of it?
I mean, we seen it coming. Like, what was really the point of Ric Flair walking around with Randy Orton? Let's be honest. Like, this is not Evolution days when he's walking out to the ring. It's not like, he really needed Randy or anything like that. I mean, Ric Flair. So it adds to the character, right? Like, he's supposed to be sadistic, the legend killer. So why are you walking around the legend and these people?
I hear you, but I was reading something and it makes sense. One thing is like you don't really trust Ric Flair, right? He's always like conniving and is always up to something. I was reading somewhere like, why would Randy do this now to Rick? He could have done it after SummerSlam. So someone was saying essentially that maybe it's just to get Drew off his game, and then they double cross him on SummerSlam, and now that's kind of how Randy wins. So I can see that, you don't trust Ric Flair, you can't trust Randy. Or maybe it's a situation where they work together and Randy still, afterwards, and there was more into it. They were discussing in regards to the camera angling and all this stuff. It made a lot of sense. So I can see that be a situation where they're trying to get Drew off his game because, again, why all of a sudden now we're gonna be sympathetic to Ric Flair. So
I also think there's a thing where Randy Orton stopped trusting Ric Flair because a lot of times Ric Flair would give him some pushback. Like, nah, don't do that. Like when Ric Flair gave his promise about protecting, who was it? I can't remember who it was. It was like, I'm not gonna let him put his head. And then when Randy went for the punt, he's like, nah, you don't need to do it. Type of situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like showing like, it's like, oh, you're not as tough as you used to be type of situation. Like, you're showing sympathy to these people and da da da. So I can see it both ways.
Yeah. But I'm actually looking forward to that match, and I hope that he wins. But what else we have?
Well, talking about matches that you like, how you feel about this hair versus hair match between Sonya Deville and?
So we're just jumping around. For SmackDown, yeah, I'm excited. I don't like that it's a hair versus hair match. I'm just excited more so that we get to see more women. Like, I think we've said this numerous of times. You don't have to have a women's match on a pay-per-view. It has to be a stipulation or a legend versus whatever. It can be just a feud between women. And
right.
This was a feud that was already like really popping off. And I'm excited. I just don't like the stipulation of it being hair versus hair. I don't get it.
I mean, we haven't had a hair versus hair match in a very long time.
I know, but it's just like,
this is very interesting for them. I feel like this is very interesting for them. It's SummerSlam. You know, you got to add something special to SummerSlam.
I know, but it's just like I hate the gimmicks, especially when it comes to women. Like, it's gonna be like we're gonna talk about our hair and this and that and third. Like, I get that's how it kind of started with Sonya cutting Mandy's hair, but I just think it's just two best friends or former best friends that are fed up with each other and let's just have a fight. So, I'm not ready to see who's gonna get their hair cut because Sonya has really, really nice hair. And I don't know how much shorter Mandy's gonna go. So I don't know. I just want to see a match. Like, this, we're at, again, women's evolution. It doesn't have to be hair versus hair. Like, that's the ultimate goal. It could have been like, a brawl, a street fight, anything like that. Like, we could see. But I'm excited. When you tell me that there's more women that's going to be on the card on a pay-per-view, on a big pay-per-view at that, I'm for. What did you think of Dominic and Seth Rollins? Like, when he took all those kendo shots. That was kind of crazy.
It was very brutal to watch.
Mm-hmm.
It was also blatant. That was
Hazing.
Initiation on TV. Like, it was like nobody came out to help. Like, my thing was, Randy Mysterio has no friends that could come out and help his son while he's getting brutally beat down with two kendo sticks.
Yeah, like, that was a little.
Where's
crazy.
the loyalty to the legend?
that man was bleeding. Like, those shots were. I've never seen kendo shots like that ever.
Yeah, again, it was hazing, and I made the point. I was like, if it was my fraternity, cops would have been at the door. Like, like, they did this on TV and got away with it. Like, how do you do this on TV and it'd be okay?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Ray.
Was it TV 14?
I think, I was reading on Twitter that they've been doing TV 14, so I don't know. Ray apparently renewed his contract, so obviously he's gonna get involved some way somehow. So we'll see.
I'm excited for this match, to be honest with you. I like seeing Dominic in the ring. He's pretty big for a luchador, and he does luchador stuff.
I'm not. I don't know.
He's been training for a while. He's been preparing for his run for a bit. So
yeah,
this is his first match to be at SummerSlam. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, but when you're the son of a legend, a future Hall of Famer, it's
That's what
like
I'm saying.
that. I guess you get that play.
I guess it doesn't carry too much weight because you still got hazed on TV. Like,
man, damn, like I can only imagine the treatment afterwards, like to clean up everything, in regards to his wounds.
Yeah.
That must have been really, really brutal. Yeah. But speaking of women,
we wasn't speaking about women.
but we were previously before I asked you in regards to that. We saw Bianca and Zelina get their little shine and have a match. What did you think of that?
It was a very good match, and I posed the question, like, how many of y'all really know that Vega could go in the ring? Because it showed that these two had some kind of chemistry in the ring together, and they both showed off their abilities. Vega showed off her agility, and Bianca showed her athleticism and strength. It was a very good back and forth, a little bit match. I think, in my opinion. I like that they didn't get the men involved too much. There was that ringside cheering on their counterparts in terms of, who manages them and, friends and stuff like that. I enjoy it. I would love to see Vega more in the ring, and I'd love to see what they're going to do with Bianca.
I mean, I agree. You said it better than I could. And I was hoping that match, it wasn't a situation where Bianca overpowered Zelina, because then it would have been a squash match, right?
Right.
But it wasn't. I mean, for the most part, she did dominate, but Zelina was able to show her craftiness and, like, how she's essentially a conniving type of character and, like, very, like manipulative, right? So, and that's what she showed in her in-ring ability. So I hope there's more opportunities. Again, it's not one and done, because, again, this is a time to show that you can go and let me get these opportunities while you can. Like, I feel like it's all an audition for a lot of these, not just women, but superstars in general. You don't have to travel. There's a lot of superstars that may be out because of COVID. Okay, so who's the next one to step up and show, like, listen, you can count on me, and I'm gonna deliver. So I hope to see that there's more opportunities for those two.
Definitely. What did you think about the Raw Underground? Since you want to bring it back to Raw.
I don't. And I was reading this that this was Shane McMahon's idea, so this wasn't even Vince or anybody else's, but it was Shane McMahon's idea. And a lot of times, they really look to him for his ideas, like they value his ideas. And I'm like, why though? Because they said he came up with the best in the world thing, and that ran its course. Like, that went really
boring
and just annoying. So I'm not saying he doesn't know what he's talking about, but I don't know where this is supposed to go. Again, it just comes off like brawl for all. Like, just, okay, so now you took away the women dancers. Like, you didn't want to objectify women. Like, well, like, give me the consistency and let me know the background of this. And I guess this segment was to show how strong Shayna was. So whoever I guess comes out of the matches with Asuka, Sasha, and Bayley, she'll be the next one up. But I don't know. It just seems out of place. It just doesn't seem. I don't know the point of it. Like, I don't know who's supposed to really. Is there supposed to be stars that's supposed to come out of this? Like, what's the point?
I agree. Like, I've seen a lot of people like, oh yeah, now it's underground, and then I'm like, for what? There's nothing that changed from the first week. Like, you had Shayna dominate 3 women. Yeah, that's cool. I love Shayna, but it didn't do anything for her in ring. Like, on SmackDown, she lost the Battle Royal.
Right.
Like, it didn't do anything. Underground is not really elevating anybody. the Hurt Business was to take over. They didn't even show up this past week on the Underground. I thought they was running stuff now for
Exactly.
like was it like you said, it was a consistency. They took the women out. Why? Like, I thought it was supposed to be a club feel. So what's the next club feel? And then you have NXT superstars on the sideline again, and they're more visible. So it's like, I meant to say this the first time when we discussed this. I'm gonna say it now. I feel like Underground is like an insult to our intelligence. Like they're assaulting our intelligence of what we think is on our TV. Because you try to make it seem like a shoot fight where it's only lasting like 15 seconds. And it's like monstrous people versus small people. Like, we supposed to believe this is real? Like, I don't understand what they want us to take from this.
And then go ahead.
So I'm saying, it just felt like they're insulting our intelligence with this. Like,
yeah. And then going back to Shayna, and they had the 3-on-1. One of the apparently the women that went against her is a MMA fighter, and she was told not to use any moves against her. So like like you said, these are known superstars, wrestlers that can probably go toe to toe with who they're facing, and you're making. And I get it. Like, ultimately, you got to make certain people look big and strong. But like you said, nothing came about it because Shayna was made to look like a beast, like a monster, like she's just a badass. Become SmackDown, she was really an afterthought in the Battle Royal. So again, if you're gonna give us this Raw Underground, there has to be more of a background story to this. It's just not like, oh, let's throw it in there and we're gonna accept that. Especially how can like you said, there is just squash matches. How can I be like, yo, this is dope, but everything happens in a couple of minutes, and then that was it. So like I said, this is just another idea that I think is not gonna last long, and it's gonna be a situation like WWE does, where it's just gone. That's it. Like, we don't hear nothing of it, no mention of it. It's just gone. It disappears. So it's just a waste of time.
They had a better chance of putting this on YouTube. Like making this a series on YouTube for 15 minutes. Right. Like,
and yeah, that could have been a background story on YouTube, and then like again, like whoever comes out of it,
better shots on the camera, and
yeah, and make it, and then it Raw Underground, because it comes off as like violent, gritty street fight. So now that whole TV for 14 thing comes into play. Like, really make, not, I don't want to say violent, like there's bloodshed all the time and eyes popped out or whatever, but make it like it's a brawl for all, like, so I don't know. It's gonna be one of those things that just disappears, honestly.
Yeah, it is. Like, I don't know if it's supposed to be a club. They got this 7-footer that used to be a ninja, now he's a bodyguard. Like, we don't know the difference. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how many tall people do you have on your roster? One. You got one giant on your roster right now outside of Paul Wright. And you use him as a ninja, and now you got him as a bodyguard.
I don't know.
Not that far apart either.
But speaking of YouTube and putting things on YouTube, we have AEW. Let's switch it up a little bit. What did you think of
all over the list?
What did you think of AEW and the Orange Cassidy, Orange Cassidy and Jericho? Like, what did you think of all of that?
Oh, the Orange Cassidy Jericho thing. I heard that Cassidy picked up the win. I think it's very good because Chris Jericho always talks about, like, how he wants to put over new people, and he want to be refreshing and new. It's not always about the old people, even though he's the first champion. I mean, I guess he passed it on to Moxley, but I think this is very good. Orange Cassidy getting this time of shine. He's very charismatic.
Very. The irony is he's very charismatic, but
he's very charismatic. But I think this is a good move. Like, it's good to push other people ahead. Unlike other promotions where it's like, all right, we're gonna stick to our stars and that's it. Like, I'll give that to AEW to give people different chances, even though it's not always what we like. But they try to put different people in front of us, even though that's not even signed. So I give them that.
When you say that, I just feel like AEW, yes, they will do that, but they don't stick to it. So, for example, I was very annoyed that Scorpio Sky didn't win against Cody Rhodes in the TNT title. Actually, what did you think of the title?
I like the new title. I really do.
It's really dope. It's really dope.
It's really, Gold added a lot to it.
They have a lot of nice titles. The only one that I'm not feeling is the women's title.
The
But
women's
besides
title.
that, because I'm jumping all over the place. But if, for example, Scorpio Sky versus Cody Rhodes, again, this is what I've been saying. Like this is the same promotion that says we're gonna do things different. It's gonna be diverse. It's gonna be this, that, and the third. That was a perfect opportunity for Scorpio Sky to win.
No, not really, not yet.
Why not?
I want to.
So when does the black wrestlers in AEW really get their shine? Tell me.
No, trust me. I would love Scorpio Sky to win. I mean, he's the first AEW tag team champion. I would love it. He just touched he has been tag team for a while, and he just touched singles competitorship, right? He's been doing mainly on AEW Dark, building up his character again, so the audience can be referred to him again as a singles competitor. I can see him because he's not out of the picture the way they're writing it, in my opinion, on Twitter, because he still has his eye on the gold. I feel like if they're gonna make the title change, one, give him the stage that he needs, and two, make it make sense. Like right now, Cody's all over the place. I would rather Scorpio and Cody to have an actual program where they just stop this random people coming at each other. It's like, nah, you just can't beat me, and then Scorpio eventually defeats him for the title.
Yeah, but it just seems like that's the objective of the TNT title championship is random people. It's open challenge. So every week someone's gonna challenge Cody for the title. There hasn't been an actual feud. I guess with Brody Lee, it seems like, quote unquote a feud. And then they're doing the whole I got your title thing, which someone mentioned WWE already did that with the US title. So, but
yeah, I want to see Scorpio Sky build up to that. Now, honestly, I would rather see Scorpio Sky winning the AEW title.
Yeah, but now I feel like in wrestling in general, I feel like if you jump, you're a tag team, mid-card star, then I'm gonna go for the heavyweight title. Exactly. I would have been more on top forward for him winning the TNT championship. But that's just me.
I mean, that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen. I don't think that it was the right thing to do this past week, because that was the first time he was on AEW as a singles competitor in how long? He's been on AEW Dark. We don't know who really watches that. So I feel it's a nice starting part for him.
I just think a lot of people were annoyed because, again, like I mentioned, it's just like, this is a person of color. We want to see more diversity with AEW, and not just on AEW Dark or a women's tournament, but on the actual show. And this was what they were afraid of, right? Like if the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and Adam Page and Cody Rhodes, these type of guys were constantly too much in the spotlight. And this was what they were afraid of. So they try to, you know what I mean? So I know They still have to find a balance in the sense of who they want to really push and this and that and third. But going back to Jericho and Orange Cassidy, that's one person that they've really, like, there's been hype around, freshly squeezed, and they've kept at it. So I like what they're doing with him, and hopefully, he's someone that can go for the TNT championship. Like, I don't know what's
the end goal with him.
not the end goal with him, but just their title, right? Because is this supposed to be just a title that, like a TV title that you challenge every week, or is it your mid-card title? Because I think they need to solidify that. Because then because like I said, if you want to make Orange Cassidy or Scorpio Sky, like, champions, is it just I'm gonna face you a different challenger every week, or are there gonna be feuds behind it? Because that's what winds up making a title prestigious, right? Just the different feuds and classic matches behind it, not just random ass matches.
I didn't have a chance to fully read what Cody said, but Cody said this is definitely not a mid-card title. Mm-hmm. He doesn't like the idea of mid-card titles. So maybe
but not
that's
everyone
what I'm saying.
Can be a heavyweight, but go ahead.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, this could be where the feud starts. Like we said, we can't just be random people every week. Eventually, it has to be a feud, and this is where I'm saying, like, this could be a good start for Scorpio Sky, even if it started off with Brody and then Scorpio Sky goes back into it in terms of whoever. But I feel like Scorpio Sky should solidify himself as a singles competitor first before he's actually winning a title.
I agree. That's not a bad take on it. I just, again, I want to see
Diversity.
again more diversity. Again, I'm going to keep driving this point home. AEW said they want to be different. They want to do this, that, and the third. And yes, there's ways they have been different, especially with their tag team division. They've really did a good job with that and who they signed. But there's so many things that they need to do, including the women's division, right? Because it's like, again, Sheeta had a match. I forget who she had it against. It was a 2-minute match.
Right.
It's just like you can't, like, that whole show is male dominated. It really is. It really is.
Well,
it's frustrating.
How many women did we say they have on the roster?
You said about like 20 or so.
Yeah, somebody made a point on Twitter, and I wanted to see what your thoughts on it is. I'm not saying I agree, and I'm not saying I don't disagree. I can see where that person's coming from. When AEW first started and they was giving women matches, a lot of fans were complaining that the women were too green. So I feel like they need. I always say this. Yes, they have 20 women wrestlers on their roster, but who could really captivate their audience? You see what they're doing, Big So Little Swole. That just was very good. I want to see them capitalize on that. I like what they're doing with the LAX group. I want to see them capitalize on that. I would like them, like, after this tournament is done, and you see, like, because when I'm watching this tournament, right, when you're realizing who has chemistry, who knows what they're doing in the ring, I would like them to see them sign some of those girls that are not signed, and then see how they transition it into Dynamite after this is all said and done. Even if they do the finals on AEW Dynamite, give them time to do what they need to do.
Which they are. They're doing I think the finals is coming up this Saturday. But okay, so people complain that a lot of the women were green. Cool. Now again, in 2 months, it's gonna make it a year that this promotion has been around. What are you doing to okay, they'll be on AEW Dark, not all of the women, but what are you doing so, like, the women aren't green? And not even the fact that they're green. I don't know a lot of these women wrestlers. Let's be honest. Unless you were really watching like indie wrestling or New Japan or whatever, and you're familiar with all of that, then you know what these women are about. But for the average person who's an average wrestling fan that doesn't know, you're not doing anything. I don't know these. They don't even do things where, like, you know how sometimes WWE will, when they introduce someone, they kind of do like a profile thing exactly before a commercial break or something, just to introduce us to someone. They're not even doing that. So how? What there has to be something where you can't have a 2-hour show and you have 2-minute a 2-minute women's match. That's not cool. It's not cool. Yeah. You mentioned the tournament. I didn't care for the second day like I did for the first one. I still watch, and I'm gonna continue to watch, because if I can't keep talking about do this with the women and not promote it. I'm excited. I believe the finals or something is going to take place this upcoming Saturday. So I think whatever happens this week, and then Saturday on Dynamite. So I'm excited for that. What?
So I actually started my diet. So
does this have something to do with the show, our podcast?
Yes. So now I thought about it. Like, this whole weekend, we have like a weekend full of great wrestling, and I can indulge in my wings and beer. This is a tragedy.
But yes, you can indulge, but you don't have to have 2-3 beers. You don't have to have 10, not to say you eat 10 wings, but you don't have to have, like, for example, I made lasagna this past weekend. And when I tell you I had a big piece, but I ate and I worked out. Plus the lasagna had like different vegetables like peppers, mushrooms, zucchini, and
I do eat 10 wings. And you tell me you have one beer for one show? Like,
if I have to have one glass of wine, you can sacrifice more than one beer. You'll thank yourself later when you be like, oh, This is why people don't overdo it.
How about this
Plus,
entire
and then I
week?
had this past Friday. I went out. I had freaking me and my friend shared a picture of sangria, and then I had a shot. I'm like, why did I do? Like, I can't. And then I ate after because I told you I do the
Well,
intermittent
liquor is good
fasting.
for you.
I can't. Wine is good for you, not lick anyway. I can't eat and drink like that anymore. Anyway, but we're going too far off topic. Again, they just got to do something with their women's division. I like that there's certain stars that are they're focusing on. The tag team division is cool. I'm waiting for the Young Bucks and FTR to really come to blows and really give us like some classic matches. But
And it's this whole Kenny Omega and it's this Kenny Omega and
Adam Page
situation too is kind of heating up, no?
Yeah, I mean after they won, I had to rewind it because I'm like, was Adam like pissed off that that Kenny got the pin, but they have a move, a finisher together. So it was kind of like he did his finisher and then he just waited for Kenny to do it. So I don't know. I was confused by that, but it's interesting. So yeah. That's enough AEW talk, right?
I guess for now. What do you think about this whole Alexa Fiend and Braun situation?
I'm pissed off. I don't like what I envisioned it was
That's a strong
supposed
word.
to be. Yeah, well, who would have thought I'd tell you I'm invested into an Alexa Bliss segment, but 2020 is very different, right?
Right.
I think it's because I'm just on this whole women empowerment thing, right? She's one of the superstars that frustrated me in the sense of she just got a push out of nowhere and they kept pushing her, right? But it's been a couple of years or so since she's really been in the spotlight. So it should be a rotation, exactly, right? So in this situation, I'm pissed because you've made what I warned like us against, like this was going to be about Braun and the Fiend, it's as opposed to her character development. Braun specifically said on Smackdown this past Friday, everyone that comes close, I'm paraphrasing, or come in contact with the Fiend, they change, even you, right? And he was saying how she used him, this and that and the third. And first of all, they made this feud about their friendship when they really didn't have a friendship. It was more so flirting. Because of the mix, like random flirting, but it was around the mixed match challenge.
Yeah.
That they wound up teaming in. So there wasn't really anything after that. They had segments or a tag team outside of that, right? So I don't like that they used that. 1, 2, again, she's just a part of their storyline as opposed to, you know what, she got came in contact with the Fiend. This is for her to turn on Nikki, especially when, I don't know if you saw it on this past last week.
She tried to apologize.
Right, and then they had a little segment on SmackDown. So this could be another match, right, at SummerSlam. That against Nikki and Bliss, had they played it out, but they're not playing that out. They're having Bliss being a pawn in the Fiend and Braun's feud. And it looks like Braun is the one that's turning heel, and Bray is the one that's
do that.
I don't know, but did you see like Braun picked up Bliss and then dropped her or right? Well, Fiend didn't really make the scene because she was dropped. We didn't see it, but she was dropped. But he left, and now he's laughing all sadistically and whatever. So I'm just like, I don't know, but I'm just I'm disappointed with what they did with Bliss and disappointed with that. Yeah.
They're doing all the wrong things with Fiend. That's how I feel. All the wrong things. Like, you could have had this guy be the next Undertaker. You could have this guy be a phenomenon that only pops up here and there, like they did with the Demon with Finn. You could have had all these possibilities with this guy to put him over. And again, you dropped the ball.
I mean, I think he's still over. I don't think that, and I'm surprised that it's lasted this long because I knew people were going to kind of get tired of the whole Fiend thing, and WWE was going to drop the ball. But people aren't really tired of the Fiend, but WWE is
He could have been
dropping the
so
ball.
much bigger. Like I feel like with Braun, not Braun, with Bray, they always let him rock for a bit, and then they find a way to mess it up.
Yeah, because when he was the eater of the world type thing,
What?
you
He
know,
had the whole world
he
eating. He had the whole world literally in his hands.
and they dropped the ball. So
They had him lose to Randy, right?
I'm just disappointed. I'm disappointed with how they're going about this feud, and it had potential because there's history. You know,
Right.
I love feuds that have a
The
history
build
and
was
it's not
great.
just random. Yeah, but I just don't
First
like.
he fought Bray. Then he fought Woods Bray, which brought out Fiend. Like it had a nice little rolling to it
The
to actually give Braun.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, and I just like I said, I don't like what they did in regards to Bliss, and they're making her look like, oh Bray, like like damsel in distress. Like, come on, like I hate that shit. So yeah, I'm not feeling that segment. But
what happened with Keith Lee? I seen that he got hit with a fireball.
Yeah, again, like just briefly with NXT, I don't know. Outside of EO, Tegan, Shotzi, and Dakota, and Keith Lee, I'm just very blasé about it. But I think that it was cool to see what's his name, Cross. I don't know.
Karrion Kross.
Yeah. I guess that they have a match coming up at TakeOver, and he I guess pushed the contract, and the fireball blew up in Keith's face.
So
that
he did
was kind
magic.
of cool. I don't. It goes through him and Scarlett's character. That was kind of cool, but I'm again in general I haven't been too on NXT. And I want your thoughts in regards to Velveteen Dream coming back.
To be honest with you, I'm not very for it. I'm actually our intro. If you notice, we have a segment with the Dreams skit. I'm going to edit that out this week. Like I'm just not a fan of it at all.
Shout out to you for that.
Like I'm being honest. Like I'm not with it at all. His accusers are not feeling it. Like they're saying, like, what's the point of me saying something if he's gonna put him back in the title picture when he comes back from an accident or whatever that was without no repercussions. Even people backstage are not happy away. You know what I'm saying? At WWE, that's not happy about how this is being handled. And I'll say this. I said this on Twitter when somebody mentioned, AEW. Say what you want about AEW, but when things come on their front steps, they deal with it. Yeah, WWE fired a couple of people that they were not using already, but when it came to their major stars, they kind of like coddled. Like I'm not like with the whole thing with we've talked about this. The whole thing with Matt Riddle, we understood because it's pending investigations. Apparently, it's a stalker situation.
I didn't say I understood, but go ahead.
No, but I'm just saying, like I get what's happening there. They're trying to whatever, but in this case, you just ignore it.
But that's essentially the same thing then.
What?
Essentially, you're saying what you're saying with Matt Riddle. There's a situation where you understand because
I'm not saying
it's a pending. No. But you said there's a pending and investigation, and there's a stalker involved. I don't know how true that is, or what he could be saying. But essentially, it's the same thing with Dream. Like everything's pending until it comes to light.
With
so
Dream, with Dream though, there's actual multiple accusers with the same.
But there's accusers. There's accusers for Matt. There's
only one accuser, no.
I think there was a couple of situations where
what I've seen was a situation where he again was dating somebody, and then when he didn't, like, again, this is all speculation, is when he didn't want to leave his wife, is when she started contacting his wife, and then her wife brought it to the police station as well, Matt Riddle. That's what I'm saying. It felt like it was they're saying it was a stalker situation where there's paper trail for that. Right. Dream has multiple accusations from different people with receipts of what he said and pictures sent. That's what I'm saying. There's a difference of the between the two.
Right.
And when you have that much things against Dream, and then you put him back in the title picture, it doesn't say a lot. Like we've seen, like again, bringing with the whole people bringing comparison to AEW. We're gonna get to it. Jimmy Havoc has been released for his involvement.
But they didn't release him right away.
They couldn't because there's a state law when somebody's in rehab. I guess they had already put him in rehab before this came out. When somebody's in the facility, they can't fire that person while they're going through the rehab situation. Because that was brought up as well.
All right, so, shout out to AEW for that, because I was like, well, it took a while, but now that you pointed that out, that makes sense, and I hear you. In regards to Dream, but this is why accusers, and people who don't want to come out, because if your word is not going to be taken or there's not going to be any repercussions, it's like, what's the point? And again, this is it's a classic situation, and it seems like it's been a history with WWE. Like, we have a lot of people that do a lot of things, and they get rewarded. So I'm not excited to see Dream. I like that. For me, that's done with, and it's really unfortunate that they didn't do anything with that. That's the example that you said. Like, it is okay to be a pedophile and a creep and all this other stuff, but yeah, you're still gonna get a job, and you're still gonna get opportunities and be on TV. Never mind working hard. Never mind working hard and doing the right thing and earning your stripes. No, I can be a whole ass creep, but my job is still secure. It just kind of how the country and the world is, right?
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like, this is not the first time we heard this in this company. Like, we heard about Pat Patterson, we've heard about Fabio Smuller,
Jerry Lawler, like
Jerry Lawler, Jimmy
whether it's that, whether it's racism, it just is everything in this company.
If you're making money for us, if you're making money for us, we can look the other way.
It's okay to be a fuck boy and do fucked up shit. So, but
yeah, I'm not very happy about that at all.
Yeah.
But if you want to jump over back to SmackDown, Joseph Parks, aka Vince, appeared on SmackDown with AJ Styles as his statistician.
Yes,
he made an error and wrote Jeff Hardy's name in permanent marker.
What do you think of that? What do you think of that coming to SummerSlam? That's what it seems like. That is, SummerSlam is happening at SummerSlam, right?
Right, it's happening at SummerSlam.
Okay.
That's what they're saying. I think it's very interesting, especially with these three, because they all have history over at TNA. So
okay. Actually, before you continue, and then I know I missed that for Impact. Shout out to Impact. I want to try to keep mentioning this, get into it again, because they're really utilizing their women. I think this past week they had like 4 different women segments, unlike other promotions. Okay, go back to the other segment.
All right. But yeah, those 3 have history, and it's just interesting to see all of them 3 in the same facility.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it seems like they're gonna go AJ Styles versus Jeff Hardy at SummerSlam, and I think that's gonna be a pretty dope match. Mm-hmm. We know how AJ gets down, we know how Jeff gets down. I'm glad they moved Jeff away from that whole Sheamus situation, and AJ actually has a formidable opponent at SummerSlam.
Yeah, it just seems like when AJ is on SmackDown, it's just it's this level of comfort there. Like, I don't know. And even though, like, again, they're all at PC and it's essentially the same thing, just everything running into each other, there's a fluidity with AJ being on SmackDown. Like, that's just when you become accustomed with certain stars for a specific brand. AJ is that for SmackDown. So I'm actually very excited too to see that match. I'm expecting a lot, and I'm hoping they deliver. So,
speaking of SmackDown, what do you think about Asuka winning the Battle Royal?
I know there was a lot of backlash in regards to Asuka now winning and then facing Sasha and Bayley at SummerSlam. I like it a lot, actually. I didn't see that coming. Like last week, remember we were just kind of like naming different people that could potentially face Bayley. I didn't see that one coming. I like it because ultimately Asuka has been in a storyline with both Sasha and Bayley, right?
Mhm.
Right. So you have to see your way through both of them. So I like it. I really do. I don't, Sasha and Bayley have been on a roll. Asuka's been on a roll. Like when you look at your 3 top women of the division this year, has been those 3. So all of this is well deserved. I'm for. I have no complaints. I know I might be biased in regards to it, but it's the truth. And yeah, Asuka's coming home with one of these titles, and I think it's going to be the Raw title because as Sasha Banks fans, we can never have anything good. And I was saying, like, I was doing the math. It's coming up to 27 days for SummerSlam, so I was like, that is her longest reign. So, but you already see the cracks coming, right? Because after Asuka won, what happened? They were backstage. Bayley said, well, yeah, because I didn't have anything important to fight for on Monday. And then Sasha looked at her like, what?
Yeah.
And then that's when Asuka attacked. So that's the cracks I'm hoping is starting to happen. Sasha probably dropped the Raw title. Bayley will somehow still win this, retain her title. And then they gotta defend their tag team titles at Payback, which is a week later. So this would tell me,
is stupid.
Whatever. This would tell me that this is where everything starts to kind of happen.
So I don't like Asuka winning.
Really?
I don't.
Okay, why?
To me, like you said, those 3 been carrying the division. This would have been a perfect time to put somebody in the fold to take some of that steam with them as well. You had options to make, like, basically give Asuka a new ally since, Kyrie had left and wasn't able to take some of that stain with her during this. You know what I'm saying? It's like this would have been a nice rub for somebody to take from these 3 women, right? To align herself with Asuka, like, nah, I'm not gonna let you fight both of them by yourself anymore. Win the Battle Royal, maybe a Bianca. Battle Royals are usually somebody where that's not supposed to win, come out and win. You know what I'm saying? This is your chance. All you gotta do is put somebody over the top.
Okay.
This would have also set up for the tag team match for Payback. You know what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with it? Like, who's gonna go?
Yes,
who's gonna challenge?
Yes and no.
Who's gonna challenge them now at Payback? It's when it's a week later. Who are we gonna build up in a matter of 2 weeks for them to face in back-to-back pay-per-view? You know what I'm saying? Like, this would have been a nice flow for them. Well, Asuka versus Sasha for the Raw, and then whoever versus Bayley for the SmackDown, and then those 2, win or lose, team up to go face them again at Payback a week later. Now you don't have to rush anything.
Well, you see why I think that your argument is flawed in that sense, because Asuka was teaming up with Kyrie, cool, but that's done with. So why does Asuka need an ally in this sense? She clearly has shown that she can beat. But she clearly has shown that she can beat Sasha and Bayley even when it's 2 against 1.
Well, she lost her title because of
it. Because Kyrie was also involved. Had Kyrie not got beaten up by Bayley, she had that match won, and Sasha would not be the champion right now. So, in that sense, Asuka, we saw there's a change in her attitude. Now she's not silly. Now she's not playing games. She's ready to get retribution from Sasha and Bayley. So that's 1. 2, we've seen that Liv and Ruby have been getting built up for the longest on Raw in regards as a tag team. Everyone keeps saying that's this.
They lost in 2 minutes at the Battle Royal.
As single competitors, not as a tag team. We're talking
But
about a
tag team's
tag
supposed
team.
to, but tag team's supposed to help
But that has
you,
nothing
you in the battle royal.
That has nothing to do. But you know they weren't gonna face Bayley at
I
SummerSlam.
get that, but if you're
They're
a
building
tag
them as a
team,
tag.
you're supposed
That
to
has
last
nothing
longer.
to. That has nothing to do. That has nothing to do with anything.
All right,
You
let's see what
know
they do
that.
this week with them.
You know with tag teams they a lot of
They
times in
don't,
battle
but
royals
they
they
last
turn on each
longer.
other.
They last longer.
It wasn't like it was a pay-per-view. It was a short. It wasn't that long of a segment. 1, 2. You're talking about. I would have loved to see Bianca face Bayley too, but you got to think about it. Bianca is just is in the middle of a feud with Zelina and the Street Profits. She's entwined into that. Bianca would have had her match. SummerSlam is next Sunday. So you're gonna put Bianca in a match against Bayley, ultimately lose, and then that's it? No, Bianca deserves a build-up and a feud. So if that was gonna be the match, I would not have been happy because it's the same thing that happened last year when Bayley faced Ember Moon. They had a match and that was it.
Counter. Where was Io? Io could have been the person. She has history with them too as well.
But Io is why does Asuka need a counterpart? An ally.
Because I want to build more
has
people.
But Io's already built. She has her own match going on at Takeover.
She can have double nights.
But why? You then the defeats
Why
what
not?
you just say. But that defeats what you're saying in regards to building up more people. Io's already established. She's the NXT Women's Champion.
NXT.
And going it. But she doesn't have to. She's not a superstar on Raw and Smackdown. Asuka doesn't need that. You're bringing up scenarios that doesn't make sense in regards to well, Asuka, like Shayna was supposed to be on Asuka's side. Naomi, like Asuka has history. Asuka is about, she's serious, like really serious right now after what they did to Kyrie and after Sasha essentially stole that title from her. She wants retribution and she's going to handle those two like she's been handling them. It's played out perfectly.
Sidebar, I don't like what they're doing with Naomi. They dropped the ball again.
As always, but we knew that was going to happen. And like I said, just to wrap up, like put a bow on it, all those women that were involved in the battle royal needs to be placed in feuds. So that's how you don't put them in one-off matches and then they lose. But SummerSlam is this Sunday. It would have been a one-off match. It wasn't. It didn't
have to be a one-off.
But it would have, because the ultimate goal is Sasha and Bayley. So why you're gonna put Bianca or Shayna or whoever in a match, and then what happened? It would have been a one-off match. The ultimate goal is Sasha and Bayley. So anyone that would have won outside of Asuka would have been a waste of time, and then we would have really been pissed because this person is not getting the opportunity they deserve.
They deserve more opportunities. All right, over.
They deserve more opportunities, but you're not making a valid point. You're not making a valid point.
I am making valid points.
You're not. That's it.
We're not stealing this long. That's
it.
AEW released Jimmy Havoc, Rhea Priestley, and Sandy Gibbs. Rhea Priestley and Sandy Gibbs were released because of the United States situation, traveling overseas. All that during this pandemic is an issue. And Jimmy Havoc was released because of the situation he had, we spoke about earlier. Also, what happened is WWE Performance Center classes restarted because the coaches were not happy with that the students were home and still getting paid. What do you know about that?
I mean, I understand. I get it. 1, 2, a lot of these NXT superstars also are just in the ring, not really honing in on their skills and growing, right? At this particular point, PC and whatever is being used literally as their studio to record the shows, minus NXT, because I think that they went back to Full Sail. I get it. I understand. And then going with the other news that apparently WWE has signed a contract with Amway. It's Amway Center, right? Or
yeah. Arena.
That they will be holding their shows there. until further notice.
Until
So what
October
day?
30th.
So
October
October 30th. So now that leaves Pete. Now that gives Peace, the Performing Center, the act what it's supposed to do and help.
No, they already had another
superstars.
facility. They already started They already started lightly July 31st, but wasn't mandatory for everybody to come back. They have
But
another
you're
warehouse.
saying
They had.
you're
They
saying
already
lightly.
had another. Yeah, no, they had another facility for them to train July 31st, but not everybody was required to come back. You could choose if you wanted to come back or not. Kind
That's
of
what
like
I'm
how
saying.
the audience, right?
But that's what I'm
So
saying. You're saying lightly in the sense they had another warehouse where they were. But the whole point of the facility being built originally was so you have more access to rings and this and that and the third and equipment.
no, they had. I think they said they had the same equipment. Like there's like a new building for them.
But you're saying it's a warehouse. The whole point of the multi-million-dollar performing center is to really have access. That's for them. Is my point I'm trying to get at. That was the point of the performing center, center. But you can't. You obviously don't really have access like you really can because they're taping multiple segments of Raw, SmackDown, or whatever, and pay-per-views there. So you can't utilize it. Like you really like it's supposed to be utilized is the point I was trying to make.
I get that, but they again, like what I was read was they still have the same access. I think the issue was that those people that decided not to go to class and not be in the audience is what rubbed people the wrong way.
So what do you think? Because you made a face in regards to the Amway.
I think it's
Center
the Amway
thing.
the Amway Center, the Amway Arena thing is kind of like. I get it. It's dope. You're gonna have the screens just like they do with the NBA and the MLB. You can have screens
Which is something that you mentioned.
Right. So I'm cool with that. At first I think he was trying to have people.
And it's called Amway. It's called Amway Center.
Amway Center. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So like I think it's dope with the screens. The whole thing where you're upset with students because they don't want to put their health in danger. Look what they did. Like the same thing with Roman, right? He didn't want to put his situation in danger.
Right.
I get it. You're there to learn. But like it's a pandemic. Like if somebody's not comfortable, you don't know what's going on at their house. You don't know what's going on with their personal health. They might, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a pandemic. How you gonna get mad at somebody that want to risk their lives right now?
No, yeah, I feel you. You're right. Yeah.
Like
I was just born.
I was just going to pay them half or whatever, but like it's a pandemic. You laid off people so you could be able to afford this situation with the students or whatever. So how you get mad now?
I was just more. I didn't realize. When you put it that way, I was more in the sense of like, I guess I get it. It's now that I was tying it more into the fact that since now the superstars are going to perform at the Amway Center,
all right.
Now you have this. Now you have this opportunity to get back to work. Yeah, that's what I was more so on board with. But you're right. If you don't know anyone's health conditions or situations at home and they're just simply not comfortable, especially when you just decided to get on top of proper testing.
Right.
It's still nerve-wracking in that sense. So I get that. But
especially in Florida. Especially in Florida, the hot spot.
Yeah, but besides that, I'm very excited for them to go to the Amway Center and how they're gonna do in regards to have the fans be interactive there. It'd be nice to see them in a larger setting. And I'm sure the NXT superstars are kind of just tired of being fan. Like, not that you're tired of being a fan, because you're always going to be a fan, especially if your passion is wrestling, but literally standing, multiple hours because they're recording, multiple shows per day. So I think it's a good move for WWE, and I'm excited to see how that's going to look. And then apparently they're gonna go back to recording. My only issue with that is that they're gonna go back to recording live.
They're going live broadcasting. By the way, AEW is recording. All the episodes are taped. So yeah, even though it says live in the corner, I don't know why it says live in the corner. It's not live.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm really excited to see just how everything plays out, and then we know that SummerSlam is not gonna happen at PC. So
yeah. Interesting. And they mentioned it too this past week on SmackDown. Rumors been circulating.
Yeah. So if they're saying it on TV, then it's
definitely not
about to happen. Yeah, it's about to happen somewhere. They should look into maybe doing it in a stadium. No,
Nah, because you gotta put TVs up on the side, so it's not even no sense.
isn't that where
doing
AEW doesn't that's where AEW performs in the stadium? No.
the training facility for the Jaguars?
I thought all the time they were performing at the actual
It's right next
stadium.
to it. It's right next
Right.
to it, so that's why you can see it from the field.
But when they did their last pay-per-view, they did it from
Know that stadium, the match they had,
yeah. I
they
don't
was
know.
inside
Whatever.
the
I'm just
stadium.
yeah. So I don't know. We're just throwing out ideas. Anything else?
I think that's all for us.
Alrighty. So thank you again for listening and watching to the Mixed Tag Show with
Jenna and
Lou. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, on your favorite podcast platforms such as iTunes, Apple, Google, Spotify, whatever.
all of us.
And we have coming up this week also to preview, like I guess our predictions for Takeover and SummerSlam, and then we'll come with our results show too. So again, just giving you mad content.
Mad content for you guys, and you got some more things coming your way. So make sure you follow us at the Mixed Tag Show on Instagram and Twitter, or on our personal at
Miss Jenna Baby DAYBEE, or at
Blue Magic Grind, spell how it sound. And on that note, peace.